What's up, guys? Amma Jamma here. Let's go over a swing trade. I am currently very much bullish on and go over some of the details of this chart. We are looking at UNH. I'm on the daily right now. And as you can see here, this chart is interesting. We're going to scroll way back on the daily. So we can clearly see we've got 2 points of control, in my opinion. One's way up at 465. And one's down right around 300, where we are at pretty much right now. We just broke through. So let's zoom in on this daily here. We can see these main levels, of course. We've got one here at the gap fill. We got one here that starts at the gap. All right, and then remember on gaps, gaps is one of our favorite charts to draw a midpoint. So we could even break it down into an additional target. Midpoints are the most important part of any trade. So we've had a big break today. I reiterated this trade yesterday that I loved the entry, and now we're up 3% today. One of the best days the UNH has had since it sold off. And I literally reminded you all yesterday I still love this trade. Really hope some of you listened. But as you can see on this chart here, I mean, just the risk reward on this is pretty insane. So if we took entry right here, okay, yesterday. That's where we took entry. All right, and if we take stop at the loss of, even the loss way down here, but I would never do that. I would probably take the loss at most at 287, but realistically at point of control or just below. So this is my stop loss. Below point of control here would be my stop. And then my true target is here. All right, that's my actual target I'm looking for, is up at this area here. Anything else is bonus. All right, so if that's target 1, or target 2, excuse me, and we make target 1 the gap fill, and then we make target 2 the midpoint of the gap, and then we make target 3 the end of the gap. There. So we have these 4 target levels here. And here's the thing. So we got 5.57% here, and that's really pushing it. I actually have it up here around like 4% loss. But even pulling it back to around that 5-6%, even worst case scenario, we hit the door and get our door face slammed shut at the top of the gap right here, okay? Even if that worst case scenario happens, we're at about 8.4% in comparison to 5.41. We're still way better than a 1-to-1 risk reward, which we're looking for way more than that. But at least it tells us that we have a 50-50 chance on this. We only have to win 50% of trades taking this if we play it this way. Once we're up to the midpoint gap fill here, we have raised our risk reward on this trade. We're at 13.5 and 5.4. We raised it to about $1 to $2.50. Once we're up here, all right, we're at over a 3-to-1, almost a 4-to-1. So $4 reward for $1 risk. And then my ultimate target up here, we are at almost a 7-to-1 risk reward. All right. And yes, UNH went through some hardships. You know, I don't agree with their practice and that. They are one of the most absolutely rich and cash growing companies in existence. And the setup is there. The setup is so good that essentially we could fail this trade 4 out of 5 times, and the 5th one hits, and we're good to go. It's catching the bid. The volume's starting to pop up a little bit. We've got a beautiful risk-reward zone. It is quite expensive. It's a good trade to take spreads on, all right? So if you have a little bit cheaper, if you have a smaller account here, it's one I do kind of like spreads on overall. So something like, if we're going out to January, because I really think January is where it's at on this one. Give it a little time. So if we were to do, let's set up this trade, guys. So what's our target? $465. Oh, no, I'm sorry. $430 is our target. That's where we're looking to get to by midway between now and January. So over the next 3 months. So my goal is to get it to make this trade. And I want, if we're going out 6 months on contracts, that means that I would like to be at this target range or close to this target range, within a little bit of this target range by end of November. That's my goal, to get to the target range by end of November. I think it's very doable, because if we look through history here of how this stock moves from 340 to 430, you know, this time it was, hold on, let me see here when it actually broke out, was April 12th. And then we got up there pretty dang close by May, but we really got up there in October. So that's 5 months, a little longer there. Yeah, that's 5 months. But this one was, because of the liquidity zone, this one was super quick. And what we need to remember here is this little patch right here is going to give us a little chop. Yes, we know that. We see it. But we should shoot through this quick so we could take profits. We could trim on these points on the way up, which make us feel better if we end up chopping in this area. Or you go closer, you close out your trade if you're not capable of holding longer term trades, and then re-enter it at the break of the 400 or so. There's both those options. But anyway, so 430 is our ultimate target on this. So we could essentially go pretty damn far out. I don't think that's necessary. Let's look at the 400s and the 390s. So if we buy the 400 and sell the 390, so that's what we would do. Okay? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yes, we are buying, yes, the more expensive one, and we are selling the cheaper one. So we're paying the price. So we're going to buy the 390, sell the 400. So we've got, let's say, approximately 715 and 1500 here. So what's our cost on that? The cost is the amount in between the two, which is about $2, $2.25. Let's say $2.25 max. All right? So we've got all these probabilities stacked on top of each other. Let's flip back to our chart. We're saying $225 cost on the contract. All right? Plus, what's our max profit? Our max profit is, what's the difference in strikes? $10 minus the cost we're paying, $2.25, or even $2.10. I would say it's actually like $2.10. So that means 3 to 1. So we're paying $1 for $3 of profitability on that. So there's a $10. So we have a $10 spread, and we're paying $2.25, which means $775 minimum potential profits. Sorry, $775 is like the max out. So that's a 3 to 1 risk reward on that. So we have a 3 to 1 risk reward on our money here. $1 spent to $3 risk. And then we also have, let's average this out. If this is a 7 to 1 risk reward, and right in the middle of it is approximately a 3 to 1, let's put it in the middle. Let's say 4.5 to 1. All right? So we've got both of these risk rewards stacked on top of each other, which just makes more and more probability on the trade to really set up well. So anyway, this wasn't meant to be a spreads lesson. That's what I would personally do, and pay about $225 for people with smaller accounts. All right, you're gonna buy the 400, you're gonna sell the 410, or you're gonna buy the 390 and sell the 400. You could pick between both. I would buy the 390, sell the 400. All right, you're paying about $200. You've got about $800 profit you can make there. You're not breaking the bank. And then when you get close to the money, all right, you take that money to roll it into actual contracts or you close the trade. You know, you might cap your reward at 400%. 400% ain't bad, but you also capped your price at $200. Anyway, thanks. Love this setup. Love this setup here. That's what we're watching for. It's already starting to break. Anyone watching this video, you're a day late. I reiterated this trade yesterday. I originally alerted this trade back through here somewhere. I've been in it for a better part of a couple weeks. I opened more positioning yesterday. I posted in my channel. Great setup. Good company. Thanks, guys.